It's Monday and it's a Champions League week. It is busy, but we continue Qué Golazo, and we begin, of course, with our very own special man, Fabrizio Romano, as we discuss the latest in terms of contract negotiations, including, of course, PSG and Kylian Mbappe, Liverpool, Mohamed Salah. What's the latest there? Edinson Cavani. Would he leave Manchester United, AC Milan, Chelsea, and much, much more? Fabrizio Romano, Monday mornings, as we begin a Champions League return, begins right now. Hey, everybody, welcome to Qué Golazo. Thank you so much for being part of the family. Qué Golazo Pod on Twitter. We're nearly there. 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Please help us get there to 10,000. Fabrizio Romano, how are you, my friend?
How are you, my friend? I'm great, thank you. Super happy, super excited for the Champions League to restart. And so let's do it. Super happy, really.
Absolutely. The Champions League is here. Make sure to stay tuned with CBS Sports and Paramount Plus. You can watch every game, of course, with us. We have so much content as the round of 16, the knockout stages, the real nitty-gritty begins. But we begin the week, as always, with Fabrizio Romano. Make sure to follow him on Twitter if you haven't already and you live in a cave or something and you don't follow him. Fabrizio Romano on Twitter and, of course, on Instagram. CBS Sports content on cbssports.com. Fabrizio, let's begin with PSG for a second, because obviously I think, arguably the biggest game of the week in the Champions League is PSG against Real Madrid. It's going to be very, very important for both sides. And, of course, a big talking point is Kylian Mbappe and his future, because currently, right now, technically speaking, officially speaking, I guess, his contract is open for business as we close this season. Is there a conflict here? How's he feeling? How's PSG feeling about Kylian Mbappe?
First of all, of course, as you mentioned, the contract is expiring in a few months. And so officially, he could be open and ready to discuss with any club, and with Real Madrid in this case, of course. But I think it's important to say that Kylian Mbappe was really respectful in his last interview. He said, I'm not kind of person who is negotiating with our opponent in Champions League in the same weeks while we're going to play in this important clash. So Kylian Mbappe will be 100% respectful, and he knows it makes no sense to discuss about his future now. Also because Paris Saint-Germain were already furious with Real Madrid. We remember the words from Leonardo in September. So they want to keep the situation quiet and then to wait for Kylian Mbappe to make his final decisions in the coming months. I can tell you that Real Madrid are pushing to have Kylian Mbappe as free agent. So behind the scenes, the negotiation is already going on since long time, since last summer. They want Kylian Mbappe. They will push for Kylian Mbappe. It's not signed yet. And in this case, we have to wait for the contracts to be signed to say, okay, it's a done deal. Of course, it will take some time to prepare everything. So I think it's not something that is going to happen in a few weeks. But the mission for Real Madrid is to sign Kylian Mbappe. They want to go for Kylian Mbappe. And Paris Saint-Germain still hope for him to change his mind. But at the moment, they are still the big favorite, Real Madrid, to sign Kylian Mbappe. So it will be a really special game for him. We have also to say that Mbappe is doing great with PSG. He scored the key goal in the last Liga game. He's doing fantastic. So I think he will be 100% focused on Champions League, on winning the Champions League with PSG, and then to decide his future with Real Madrid in the coming months.
I think it would be fair to say that even though Lionel Messi, we know everything that he gives, Kylian Mbappe, at this point, at this moment, is PSG arguably their most important player as they face, obviously, Liga, the Champions League. Of course, let me ask you something, Fabrizio, very quickly. It's okay if you don't have an answer because, understandable, although you are the man of all the answers. I'm wondering, does Paris Saint-Germain have a plan B? Because, this is a big club, obviously run in a certain way. And surely they must be thinking to themselves, there is a possibility that Mbappe won't be with PSG. Is there another player? Do they have a list, perhaps, in case Mbappe leaves for Madrid?
So I was asking this question to my sources a few weeks ago, and the answer was, it depends on the manager situation. And it makes sense to me, to be honest, because if you think that maybe they will have a new manager and not Pochettino in the summer, what kind of football they want to play. So if they want to look for a center striker, or if they want to go for a different kind of player, not a traditional number 9. So they need to decide, for example, if they want a player like Erling Haaland or Robert Lewandowski, or different kind of striker. They have many possibilities, many options. The answer was also, it's not going to be an economic problem, as we know, for Paris Saint-Germain to decide what kind of player they want. Also because they would save a big salary if Kylian Mbappe leaves. Of course, it would be a disaster for PSG, but at the same point, they save a big salary, so they will have a big opportunity to find another player, but it depends on the new manager, on the project they will have, on the new manager, on the manager, because maybe it will be Pochettino, but there are good chances that will be a new manager, and so they will decide together with the board and with the new manager at the right moment, not now.
Yeah, very good point. The manager obviously dictates a lot of that narrative. But before we move on to other clubs, Marquinhos, there's an extension here. What's the latest with their Brazilian center back?
Yes, there are conversations between Paris Saint-Germain board and Marquinhos agents to reach an agreement on your contract. He did a very beautiful interview with Telefoot a few days ago in France. He was crying when they asked him about Paris Saint-Germain as club of his life. He's really in love with this club, with the fans, with the people into the club. So I'm sure that Marquinhos will stay. Last summer, Chelsea wanted him before jumping into Kunde negotiation. They were prepared to offer around 75, 80 million, and Paris Saint-Germain were not even opening a discussion because Marquinhos wanted to stay and PSG wanted him to stay. So I think they will find a way. They will find an agreement. They are in very advanced negotiation, and soon they could find a total agreement to have Marquinhos at PSG for the next 5 years with a new fresh contract.
A little bit tougher in England is Liverpool's trying to find a way to deal with Mohamed Salah and his contract negotiations, as Salah is requiring a certain number, and rightly so. Liverpool still, trying to figure that out. What's the latest on their Egyptian king there?
Yes, it's still the same situation. I'm surprised too that they still have an agreement, but they're still in conversation with Mo Salah. They are negotiating with Mo Salah, but it's still not fully agreed yet. So we need to wait a bit to see what will be the situation in the coming weeks, because for Liverpool, the message we receive from the club is still the same. We want Salah to stay. We want to sign a new deal. We want to have everything ready before the summer to avoid any kind of problem, because we know if you're out of contract in 2023 and you arrive in May, June, July, it's a big problem for a top club and for a top player like Mo Salah. But at the moment, they're still in negotiation. They're still in talks with Mo Salah. So let's see what happens. It's still a negotiation, not an easy one. But as Salah said, it's up to Liverpool. They have to decide if they want to offer him what he's asking, or it's going to be a problem. But I feel that Liverpool will try again. They're still in negotiation. So let's see. We have to wait a bit.
At this point, I feel like it also depends on how far Liverpool go into the Champions League and how well they do in the Premier League, but we will see. We will wait. James Milner, by the way, a servant of the club, of course, experienced England midfielder / defender. What's the latest on him? Because obviously, he's not getting any younger, and Liverpool have plans beyond this season.
Yes, the sentences from Jurgen Klopp were very clear. They're in negotiation with Milner. This is the truth. It's not done yet, but negotiations are progressing very well. He's not retiring, so they're super happy with him. Jurgen Klopp is a big fan, as you mentioned. He's an important player also into the dressing room. The impact he has with young players around the club is always important to have this kind of players into top clubs. And so this is why Liverpool want to keep James Milner. They're in conversation, and I'm sure that as they already did last summer with many key players like Alisson, Fabinho, Van Dijk, Robertson, Alexander-Arnold, and many others, their mission, the next one is with Mo Salah, as we said, but Milner is another conversations they're having, and they're confident. So I'm sure they have good chances to reach an agreement with him.
We're here with Fabrizio Romano as part of our Qué Golazo Mondays transfer contract discussions. Let's move on here. Manchester United, there's plenty going on there, of course, as yet again another disappointing performance this past weekend. They have to try and figure a lot out. Edinson Cavani seems, I don't think that he will be staying for next season. Is there a possibility of an exit here, Fabrizio Romano, in the summer? Maybe LaLiga, maybe back to South America. I hear River Plate, but maybe not. What's the latest on the Uruguayan?
I'm told that Edinson Cavani wants to try something in La Liga, so he will look for options in La Liga. There is still nothing agreed with any club, so it's just his desire to try something in La Liga because he was incredible in Serie A. He did great with PSG in Ligue 1. He's really appreciated by Man United fans, so it was a good experience for him at Man United in Premier League. And now he wants to complete his European tour with the La Liga opportunity. Let's see if he will find the right club at the right moment. We will see in the coming months. But also to say that Barcelona in January wanted him. They wanted Morata or Cavani in the first week of January, but then for Man United, the option was to keep Edinson Cavani. Rangnick wanted Edinson Cavani to stay, and they wanted to be respectful with the club. They needed him, and so this is why Cavani decided to stay, but I'm sure that he will leave as free agent in the summer. Let's see what happens with La Liga clubs. River Plate, we had some rumors from South America to replace in July Julian Alvarez, who potentially will go to Man City directly in the summer, but we will see what happens in the conversation between River Plate and Man City. But I'm told that River Plate is not even an option for Cavani. He is not considering this possibility. So let's see what happens with La Liga clubs, but he wants to try this Spanish experience.
Yeah, he wants to fill and complete his European flush if he has his cards. He's already done France, Italy, England, now Spain. And obviously, the language will be something good for him to just, not being able to, speak in his native language in certain leagues. I think, hey, how about Atletico, Luis Suarez, and Edinson Cavani? Wouldn't that be interesting? Do you see that happening, Fabrizio, maybe, or not?
I think it's difficult. Just my feeling, not news, but I think it's difficult because I don't see them going for two, I don't want to say old, but for two strikers that have been the best number nines probably in Europe.
Veteran players, yeah.
Yes, exactly. They are very historical players for top class, but I think they don't want to go for two kind of players with this kind of age, so they will go for something different in the summer, I think.
Yeah, and I don't even see Luis Suarez at Atleti this summer as well, yeah.
Exactly. I'm not sure that Luis Suarez will stay.
Yeah, exactly. So a whole turnaround, and who knows, maybe Diego Simeone as well. I don't know. We'll see about that. All right, let's go to Serie A. Fabrizio Romano. AC Milan took advantage this past weekend of some results around the table. They top Serie A, fantastic stuff. And there's a lot of conversations, of course, outside of the action. Franck Kessie, he's nearing free agency. What's going on with him? Could he leave or go somewhere else? Is he happy at Milan? What's the latest on Kessie?
No, there are good chances for Franck Kessie to leave AC Milan as free agent. Of course, it's not something that is already decided because AC Milan till the end will be in conversation with the player, but it's very complicated. He's asking around 8-9 million euros net per season as a salary. So it's a huge salary. Last season, he was incredible with AC Milan. I think if AC Milan played Champions League this season, it's thanks to Franck Kessie performances because he was incredible. This season, he was not at the same level, but he's still one of the best midfielders we have in Serie A. Now there are Barcelona in conversations with his agents, but it's not something great. Barcelona are waiting for an answer from Franck Kessie. He wants to keep the situation open also for the coming weeks to discuss also with other clubs from other countries. So let's see from Premier League what happens, and maybe some other club wants to jump into the race. So it's an open situation for Kessie. Barcelona had conversations with his agents. They're still waiting for him to decide, to answer, but will be one of many free agents available on the market, because we always mention, of course, Kylian Mbappe, Ousmane Dembélé, Paulo Dybala, but we have also many important players that maybe are not top stars, as the last we mentioned, but Kessie, Brozovic, Perisic, many players that, for example, in Serie A, they are doing great, and also players at Juventus, Cuadrado, De Sciglio, Bernardeschi, many players available as free agents that could be interesting opportunities. This is why Kessie and many others are keeping their future open to decide in the coming weeks or months.
Do you think that winning a Scudetto changes his mind about leaving, or the interest is too much for Kessie, especially from a club like Barcelona?
I think it's up to him. It's only up to him. Maybe the Scudetto could change the situation, could change his mind. It's a possibility. I'm not in Kessie head to give a permanent answer, but at the same point, I'm in AC Milan boards. I'm told that they don't want to offer him 9 million euros net per season. This is something that AC Milan are not going to offer to Kessie. So it's up to the player. If tomorrow morning Kessie wakes up and says, okay, I'm ready to accept 6.5, 7, AC Milan will be more than happy to keep Franck Kessie at the club. If not, they are not going to force him or to change the situation. He will be available as free agents. And as we mentioned, Barcelona, but also other clubs will be in the race to sign him. Before
we move on to Chelsea, because it's a little bit to discuss there, the Club World Cup champions, what's the status of Rafael Leao? What a player. And Ismael Benacer as well. Their contract extensions, I hear they're happy at Milan. Milan obviously happy with them. What's the latest there?
Yes, they're in negotiation. They completed a new contract of Theo Hernandez, fantastic player. He's doing incredible in Serie A as left back, but he's one of the best left backs in Europe. So I think in Europe in the last years, he did incredible with AC Milan. So they completed his contract extension last week, and now they will start negotiations also with Ismael Benacer. With Benacer, they're really confident to complete everything really soon in the coming weeks. For Rafael Leao, it will take some time, but they're confident too. Leao is playing at an incredible level with AC Milan this season, really talented boy, and he's finding his way also on the pitch, playing as left winger. I think is the perfect position for him. So they're negotiating with both Benacer and Leao, and they're confident to complete 2 contract extensions in the coming weeks.
Let's talk about Chelsea, Club World Cup champions, part of that team that won the Champions League last season, of course, and doing so well everywhere else. Antonio Rudiger wants to renew, but there are also other people who have to make decisions. I'm quoting right there. What's the latest on Rudiger? This one seems very interesting. I feel mixed messages here.
I'm not sure that Rudiger will stay at Chelsea, to be honest. I've never been sure, and I'm still not sure.
Why is he saying that then, Fabrizio? It's so crazy.
Saying, no, I think we can understand. If you want, I tell you what there is behind these sentences. Tony Rudiger in summer 2020, it was a long summer because you remember that because of COVID, the market was closing on October 5. So it was a really long transfer market window. But in September, in the first days of October, so at the end of the market, Chelsea were offering Tony Rudiger everywhere, to AC Milan, to Roma, to Tottenham, everywhere to get rid of him. Then Thomas Tuchel arrives and changed the life of this boy. Rudiger is playing at an incredible level. So what he says is, if you want to keep me at the club, now you should offer me an important contract, an important salary. He wants an important salary. And I think we always, not we, but people in football always blame players because they want crazy salaries.
Right.
But I think in this case, the player deserved an important salary. He's probably the last top contract of his career. And so it's absolutely fair to say, okay, give me what I deserved. Because in the last 2 years, he wanted to send me on loan around. I wanted to stay, and I showed my commitment for Chelsea, showing how great he is. He was, again, the best player in a World Cup final, so playing at an incredible level. So this is why Tony Rudiger wants an important contract. He's still in conversation with Chelsea. So they're still trying to find a way to keep Tony Rudiger at the club. But at the moment, it's still not agreed. And this is the message from Rudiger is, I want to stay. I love the club. I love the fans. I love Thomas Tuchel. I have great relationship with people into the club. But I want an important salary. So give me an important salary or it's going to be complicated.
There you go. Similar-ish to Mohamed Salah, I guess. Just pay me what I'm owed, I guess. This, I guess, has some kind of direct or indirect connection with Chelsea's renewed interest in Jules Koundé. Is Chelsea renewing that interest in the Sevilla center back?
Yes, they will need a centre back. They needed a centre back last summer, so they wanted to sign Koundé, also keeping at the club Rudiger and Christensen. Now the situation is different because, as we mentioned, Rudiger's situation is still open. It's not decided if he will stay or not, but it's still open. Christensen, I think there are huge chances for him to leave as free agent, with Barcelona pushing, also Bayern interested, so both clubs interested in signing Andreas Christensen. So they need a centre back. They will go for a centre back in the summer. Koundé is top of the list. I'm told that he's still top of the list. It's a player they want to sign. Since last summer, they were really close to sign Koundé, then the deal collapsed because of Sevilla. We know how difficult it is to negotiate with Sevilla, with Monchi for top players. And this is something that is not going to be easy in the summer for Koundé too. But I'm sure that Chelsea will try again. They're still in conversation with these agents. They want Jules Koundé. And so let's see what happens in the negotiation, because Sevilla, from what I'm told, they're not going to accept less than 65, 70 million euros for Koundé. Let's see if Chelsea will find a way. But Koundé is in the list. He's not the only name, but he's in the list for Chelsea as new centre-back.
I want to keep track on. Before we say goodbye to Chelsea, Azpilicueta, Christensen was mentioned. Of course, contracts are set to expire at the end of the season. Is that the end of them all? I mean, very loyal, especially Azpilicueta, loyal servant of the Blues. What's the latest there?
Yes, for Christensen, as I say, it's not easy to find an agreement with him, to reach an agreement with Christensen, because they're offering the same contract they offered him in August. And so the moment Christensen is not accepting, Barcelona and Bayern pushing. And about Azpilicueta, Barcelona offered him a 2-year deal with an option to extend for a third season. Let's see what Azpilicueta will decide, because from Chelsea, they're still waiting for him to communicate what he wants to do. So it's up to Azpilicueta. Now he has Barcelona proposal on the table. Chelsea want him to stay, but it's up to the player. And so he will take his time and then make a final decision on his future.
I mean, that one I see for sure, just because obviously, he began his career in Osasuna, but obviously Spanish ties, we'll see what happens there, but a loyal servant to Chelsea. Before we say goodbye to you, Fabrizio Romano, I know that you were awake because you never sleep, but did you watch the Super Bowl? It doesn't interest you. The halftime show was good though, huh?
I saw the halftime show, exactly. I saw that because I was working, to be honest, during the night. Then I was watching a bit. Then the halftime show was incredible, really incredible.
It really took us back, watching a few of those guys. Hey, by the way, but the LA Rams, Fabrizio Romano, are owned by the Kroenke family, obviously owners of Arsenal. I'm wondering, do you think that has anything good for Arsenal, or, just the fact that the Rams won, does that help the Gunners a little bit? Or maybe not. Maybe Kroenke's like, I'm going to put all my focus now on the Rams. Forget about Arsenal. What do you think?
I don't want to answer because I'm sure that Arsenal fans maybe will say, why you say this kind of thing? So I prefer not to answer. But I want to tell Arsenal fans, don't worry that the summer will be busy for Arsenal. So part of the Super Bowl, the summer will be busy for Arsenal. They will go for a new midfielder, a new top striker. So don't worry. They will do something important.
Listen, the Rams have a wide receiver called Cooper Kupp. I think he could go up front with Lacazette, like right now. I think we can make that happen. So I'll make sure. Fabrizio, you let me know about Cooper Kupp and see if he can maybe switch to our game. Fabrizio Romano, always a pleasure to have you. Make sure to follow him on Twitter and Instagram at Fabrizio Romano. You can read his content on CBS Sports every single week. Fab, you're a busy man this week. Where are you going to be for the Champions League? Are you going to be traveling?
I am in Milano. I'm in Milano for Inter-Liverpool game. So we'll be together on Wednesday for this special game. For Inter, it's very special. They're back at the Champions League stage after many, many years. It's like 9 years they were missing this kind of nights in San Siro. And so it's going to be super special. Not an easy one, but super special for Inter. And so let's enjoy the Champions League. And for Inter, I want to tell you that they are already looking for the summer. And it's Bremer, the name, centre-back of Torino. Trust me, I don't know if you're following Serie A on Paramount Plus. I hope yes, because the season is incredible. But Bremer, Torino centre-back, one of the best players we have in his position this season. And Inter are working to sign him in the summer. So remember the name, Gleison Bremer.
I love it. Oh, every time you tell me to remember the name, I mean, exactly what happened with Vlahovic and other players as well. Remember the name, Bremer. I love it. And Inter-Liverpool should be a very interesting one. We wish you all the best. Stay safe there in Milano. Fabrizio Romano, grazie.
Thank you, my friend. As always, enjoy Champions League week on Qué Golazo on Paramount Plus, and see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Make sure to follow Fabrizio Romano, LME here at LMHAGaray, Qué Golazo Pod on Twitter, youtube.com/Qué Golazo, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your pods. We have a busy, busy week ahead. Make sure that you're with us throughout it all, including exclusive interviews, previews, and recaps. Have a great, great beginning to your week.